Hello and welcome to What the F Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Wednesday, May 10th, 2024. Welcome to day 1177. The Environmental Protection Agency finalized the first ever national limit on toxic forever chemicals in drinking water, a group of human-made chemicals that are considered especially harmful because they do not degrade, they can accumulate in the body and the environment, and they pose a health risk to people at even the smallest detectable levels of exposure. The new rule is expected to reduce drinking water exposure to these substances, known as PFAS, for about 100 million people and prevent thousands of related illnesses and deaths. This is the first time the EPA has set a drinking water standard for a new contaminant since 1996. Moving on, Judge Aileen Cannon agreed to shield the names of potential witnesses in Trump's criminal classified documents case. Special counsel Jack Smith has been arguing since January that witnesses would likely face threats and harassment if their identities were revealed publicly. Among the people Smith was seeking to protect were FBI agents, Secret Service agents, career civil servants, and former close advisors to Trump, including one who was so concerned about potential threats from Trump world that he refused to permit investigators to record an interview with him. The judge, however, refused to categorically block witness statements from being disclosed, saying there was no basis for such a sweeping and blanket restriction on the inclusion in pretrial motions. Meanwhile, hours after Arizona's Supreme Court upheld a 160-year-old law that bans nearly all abortions, Republicans in the state began attempting to distance themselves from the ruling. Kari Lake, an Arizona Republican running for U.S. Senate, denounced the ruling and said it was out of step with Arizonans, calling on state lawmakers to come up with a solution that Arizonans can support. Lake is a Trump ally and a 2020 election denier, and has also voiced support for the law in 2022, calling it a great law and an example for other states. Despite having supported abortion restrictions in the past, two Arizona Republicans in House districts that Biden won called the ruling a disaster for women and providers, and said the issue should be decided by Arizonans, not legislated from the bench, urging the state legislature to address this issue immediately. Moving on, House conservatives revolted against their own leadership and blocked legislation to extend a warrantless surveillance program after Trump urged lawmakers to kill it. It was Speaker Mike Johnson's third attempt to reauthorize Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, a controversial surveillance law that Democratic and Republican administrations have claimed is vital to protecting America from terrorists, hackers, and other foreign threats. In a vote of 228 to 193, 19 House Republicans blocked the House from debating their own party's legislation. Although most Democrats and the White House also support extending FISA, House Democrats refused to provide the votes because Republicans had bundled the measure with an unrelated resolution that condemns Biden's border policies. And finally, Trump's former chief financial officer was sentenced to 5 months in jail after admitting that he had lied under oath about helping Trump inflate his net worth to win favorable loan terms. Alan Weisselberg will serve his sentence in New York City's Rikers Island jail complex, where he spent 3 months in jail last year after pleading guilty to helping orchestrate a tax fraud scheme at Trump's company. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.